from my parents' house. I have a little 4-year-old girl who right now is with my parents, who have temporary custody of her right now. But I'm fighting to try to get my daughter back. I cry every night because I can't hold my baby girl. I have my little boy, but I don't have my little girl with me. I'm sorry. My kids mean the world to me. I would die for my kids. And for me to see kids being abused, for me to see or hear a story about a child getting hurt, it really gets me. With the strength of God and my wonderful fiance by the side of me, that's what holds me together. And my little boy. In order for me to just see my child, I must leave my son at my parents' house as collateral for me to just see my baby. It's a hard experience to go through with everything I've been through. And I push every single day just for all the kids. I hope all the kids are taken care of, and I hope I can at least help one person with their child. Thank you guys for letting me speak.
Thank you for speaking. Thank you for speaking, God.
If you not crying, I'm gonna give you some fake tears to put on because I got my tears on. Lord, jeez. All right. One more time, y'all, for that heartfelt story from Jessica. And you have to think of the courage that it took for her to get up here and share her story, because to think that at least 85% of us would judge her. I hope that with me making you aware that 85% drops to at least 5, because the nerve of me to judge another person for what they've had to go through. I respect her struggle, and I'm glad that at least at the end of the night, we know that her baby is safe. All right. I think that we're in for a treat. I get the feeling that she's going to be a good speaker. I don't know. It's just something in my bones. So if you guys will put your hands together, please, for Miss LaShonda Busey of Mobile Mental Health Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm a little emotional. That really touched my heart. Who I am is not really important, but what I'm here to represent, I think, is very important. As it was just clearly illustrated to us a moment ago, a lot of issues that we have in our community, it stems from our emotional and our mental well-being. If we don't have the skills or the resources necessary to address those things, it's impossible for us to go out into the world and be productive. And oftentimes, we're also products of our environments. In every situation, we're products of our environment. If we don't know better, we can't do better. If we weren't taught anything different, we can't do anything different. We are who our families molded us to be. And if you came from a dysfunctional family, it's only natural to pass that dysfunction on to your children. So that's why we stand here today, so that we can break these generational curses, so we can break the curse of ignorance, so that we can educate ourselves and empower ourselves to be something different. We don't have to be who we were predestined to be. We have the power to change our futures. Child abuse and neglect is also a part of my story. It has plagued my family for many generations, but it's due to the drugs and the alcohol and to the mental health issues that were dominant in my family. But in my family, in my culture, we're taught to keep our mouths closed. We're taught to keep our problems behind closed doors. We're taught to deal with our feelings the best way we know how. And as young women, what do? We go in the streets and we look for love. We go in the streets to try to create a family of our own well-being. We go in the streets and we get involved in the illicit sex and the drugs and the alcohol and seeking validation from men or clothes or jewelry or cars, thinking that's going to make us better, when all along we're neglecting who God truly created us to be. We're looking for things on the outside of us to fix what's really going on the inside of us. So if we don't learn to heal on the inside, our outside world is never going to get better. So I think that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. I am here to represent Mobile Mental Health Support Services. and it's an agency that addresses the mental and emotional well-being of individuals. In conjunction with our services, outside of just the traditional therapy that people are afraid of because they don't want to be labeled as being crazy or bipolar or depressed or schizophrenic. If you're not okay, it's okay not to be okay. There's not one amongst us that couldn't use the benefit of having someone to talk to, whether that be a solid friend, whether that be a minister, whether that be a counselor. Like, we're all here to support each other. So let's get rid of the stigmas or of I'm crazy or I have to talk to a mental health professional, and let's seek the resource and get the help that we need to better our own lives, because it starts with us. If we each make ourselves better, we're going to make our families better, and they're going to make their families better, and then they're going to make their neighborhoods better, and then their community, and before you know it, we have a revolution. We have raised a new generation of children, and that's really what it's about. So with the services that we offer, again, it really speaks to just the mental health and the emotional neglect that we've suffered. We help to address those issues in conjunction with our nonprofit organization, which help with some of our basic needs: food, clothes, shelter, resources, because sometimes the neglect and the abuse, it comes from frustration. I can't quiet my child with a meal, so I'm going to beat my kid. I can't give my kid the clothes that he desires not to be ridiculed in school, so now he goes to school and bullies the next child or steal his shoes just because he wants those things. So sometimes it's just a matter of us having to find the resources that we need to address our issues. A lot of the times, again, the abuse that these children suffer is from frustration of us not being able to provide for them. It's from the frustration of us wanting to do better for our children and not knowing how. It's from the frustration of not having adequate child care, and so the kids get left at home. It's from the frustration of not having the child's father there, and so you find another man to step in his place. It's from the frustration of wanting to be a good man and can't find a job. These frustrations come from us not having the skills, not having the resources. But as you can see, your community is here to support you. There's resources available. If you need the help, just say, I need the help. And there's people out here that are willing to offer a hand, regardless of your finances, regardless of your social standing, regardless of your religion. Those things don't matter. What matter are these children. So our services, they're available oftentimes at low to no cost. There's services that's available to you by way of state assistance, federal funding. There's programs and resources available for us to improve our communities. Again, we just have to take that first step and say that you need the help. And if so, we're going to make sure that we leave some brochures and flyers, any information that we can provide, any services or assistance that we can be. We're certainly more than willing to do that. Thank you all so much for being here.
All right, thank you so much.
Come on, Patty.
A lot of y'all men felt like you had crazy parents. Yeah. I'll tell y'all a little story. That's okay. Stay with me. This might be for the older generation, younger kids with the cell phones. Y'all might not know what I'm talking about. But for those of us that remember what was called a one-way on a landline, old, ancient. A one-way meaning that if somebody called on your phone, the line was busy. I had my own phone line. My mom would tell me that I couldn't be on the phone before she got home from work. Of course, me being me, like she said, being hard-headed, I'm, girl, yeah, what is I saw him in the first period, girl, I think he liked me. And she would do an emergency interruption, which sounded something like this. You have an emergency interruption call from. Now, right there, they're supposed to put their name to accept the call. Rather than doing that, this is what I would hear. Ooh, you have an emergency interruption call from. Didn't I tell you not to be on my phone? Operator, I don't know what did not tell you. I've never met. I don't recall that person. I just wanted to liven y'all up a little bit. We was getting a little sad. But I have a treat for y'all. We got the man himself. When he see him walking, he throw him in his van. Where you going, little boy? Get in his van, not in a bad way.
Oh.
Not in a bad way. He put him in his van because they up to no good and he know it. You 14 with your pants down by your ankles getting in his van, little boy. He need to talk to you, right? You need to talk